Let's begin what's trending in the Federal Capital Territory, Abuja, where activists Omoyele Sowore, Aloy Ejimako, and 11 other Free Nnamdi Kanu protesters were released from Kuje prison on Monday. Sowore and the protesters were charged by the police for inciting public disturbance and disobeying court orders barring them from participating in protests at key government locations. The magistrate court had granted bail to the defendants last week and ordered them to present 2 sureties, each in the sum of 500,000 naira. However, moments after the bail ruling, security operatives reportedly bundled Sowore into a van, prompting outrage from his lawyers and supporters who accused the police of violating the court's order. Sowore, after his release, vowed to continue the protest.
Well, finally, we've just been released from illegal, unjust, unwarranted, and inhuman detention by the Bola Ahmed Tinubu regime, orchestrated by his illegal IGP, Kayode Egbetokun. And we are heading home, hopefully. In fact, I was supposed to be heading to Lagos for a protest for tomorrow. But we are still checking on the flight, if there's any flight tonight.
But have you seen the warning from the Lagos State government?
You know, they can warn themselves, they can't warn me. You can't warn me about my rights.
Yes.
They are the ones who have to warn themselves about their responsibilities. So it wasn't going to stop me. It is not the first time people who are paid to protect have become very likely responsible and warning people not to exercise their rights. So you can't warn me.
You know, their release brings temporary closure to their detention, though they still face charges of inciting public disturbance and must return for trial, raising ongoing questions about the limits of protest rights in Nigeria. Well, meanwhile, the leader of the indigenous peoples of Biafra, Nnamdi Kanu, on Monday refused to open his defense in the terrorism case filed against him by the federal government. While during the court proceedings, Kanu, who dismissed his legal team and chose to represent himself, told the court he found no legal basis for the charges after reviewing his case file. Well, Kanu argued that he should not be required to enter any defense for charges and urged the court to release him or grant him bail. Well, here's a video moment of the IPOB leader in court.
Okay, where's the lying news agency of Nigeria? Are they here? Those liars and deceivers, are they here? That distort the news. You don't know what law is. You don't know what justice is. Where's the news agency of Nigeria? What are they? You don't know that God is a God of justice. You don't know that? That God in heaven is a God of justice. You don't know that?
All right, Dr. Bati, I mean, talking about this whole court process, this dramatic shift in strategy from listing 23 high-profile witnesses to refusing to mount any defense at all, legal experts argue that it represents a high-risk legal gamble by challenging the very legal foundation of the charges rather than contesting the facts. Well, Kanu essentially asked the court to dismiss the case entirely. Dr. Abati, your thoughts on both stories?
First, let's look at some of the details. Before now, Nnamdi Kanu and his counsel, they had entered a plea of no case objection before the Court of Justice, James Omotosho, the trial judge. And the court said he had a case to answer. In other words, that no case submission was dismissed. And it was on the basis of that that the court now said he and his lawyers should enter the defense. The prosecution, having provided evidence and completed its presentation. Now, when they appeared in court again, Nnamdi Kanu said he was sacking his lawyers in open court. It is a prerogative of the accused person to say, well, I don't want to use these lawyers again. Upon which he then decided to defend himself. It is also within his right to say that he would defend himself. But having talked about 23 witnesses, he has now turned around to say what you refer to as high-risk gamble, that he had no defense to enter because he didn't think that there was any case in the matter. However, it is high risk because, one, he doesn't understand the legal issues involved. He He has no legal experience. He doesn't know what the precedents are. So that's why the lawyers you quoted said it's a gamble. How is he going to defend himself? But he has other options to him, available to him. The court of law is a court of justice for the accused person and also for the state. And in that regard, the options available to Nnamdi Kanu now, one, he can say, well, he has heard what the prosecution has said, but he thinks he has no case. That will now be for the court to determine. However, the court being the court of justice is also going to weigh the evidence because the court will not just say, oh, because you say there is no case. The court has a duty to weigh the evidence provided by the prosecution because the scale of justice, has to be balanced. And it's after that, they may then ask him, that's Nnamdi Kanu, to enter a written address to respond to the allegations, to the evidence by the prosecution. Maybe he has the skill to even understand, what the prosecution is saying. And then after that, the court will now weigh in all the evidence as fairly as it can to ensure justice, now give a ruling. Now, after the judgment, the option that is also available to Nnamdi Kanu is that he can go on appeal. So the matter has not been resolved yet. Very quickly, as for Sowore and the 13 others. One, the right of assembly is guaranteed under Section 40 of the Constitution. And Sowore and the 13 others, they said they were having a peaceful protest. And there's no evidence that they engaged in any act of violence. They were arrested in the court of law on the grounds of unlawful assembly and causing public disturbance. That has not yet been proven. They also have the right to protest and the right of expression under Section 39 of the Constitution. Now they've been given very stringent conditions. 500,000 bail, you must bring your NIN, you must submit your international passport, but we just hope that justice will be done. The only objection that I see here is with the counsel to Nnamdi Kanu, Aloy Ejimako, who decided to jump into the arena as an officer in the Temple of Justice. That's a resort to self-help on the part of counsel. But that's a matter, that can be considered at another level. But counsel should not descend into the arena and resort to self-help. It's the court of law that is the workshop of lawyers, not to carry banner on the streets.
All right. Sowore maintained that he wants to continue to protest. Sowore is the activist of our time. He's not relenting on that score. We'll head over to Plateau State now. Following the controversy surrounding the Christian genocide claims of an evangelist, Ezekiel Dachomo, original leader of the Church of Christ in Nations in Jos, who raised alarm that he received kidnapping and death threats after posting a video of the mass burial of Christian victims from a recent attack in the Hepang community near Jos. Dachomo, who made the original video as proof of what he claims is a Christian genocide and to show how Christians were being terrorized and persecuted, has responded defiantly in a new video. In this follow-up video, he passionately pleads that if he is kidnapped, no one should pay his ransom, stating that his blood will instead raise the war necessary for Christian liberation. Let's take a look.
We are showing them love, but they didn't see. I don't know whether I will be the next. But for me, I've already told my family, my members, if they kidnap me, nobody should contribute 1 kobo. My grave will speak. My blood will raise war that will lead to Christian liberation. That day is coming. I'm just waiting for them. Even I will tell them, please kill me quickly. Because nobody will bring kobo. And if they call home, they will tell them our daddy covenant last week that we should never pay a kobo. Please kill him. Because my blood will be useful while I'm in the grave. It will fight to finish him.
Very intense. Ayo, this development adds a deeply personal and perhaps a dangerous dimension to the Christian genocide debate in Nigeria. Dachomo's willingness to risk his life by documenting what he believes is a systematic persecution and his stance of refusing ransom payment if kidnapped demonstrates the intensity of his conviction. I'll take some reactions.